If you don't follow my streams over on Twitch, this is what you missed last week. I do have a package to open. Show off those cheeks, cheese. This is a Christmas card. Why they send me something so purple heavy? This is fucked up, actually. Like, are they trying to start beef with me? What tattoo? Yeah, what tattoo? Anyway, here's the tattoo, but it's just, it looks like it. All right, fun! Wow, exciting stuff. So in today's video, we are trying art supplies I bought while I was in Japan. Starting with our Sailor Shikiori markers. Twin tipped, we have a fine and a brush nib. Now, if you ever visit Japan, this is my #1 tip. Download the Google Translate app. It's amazing. So what are these markers? Who knows? Let's find out live with Google Translate. Ta-da! This is a 20 color set of water-based markers. But importantly, the back of the package is actually what got me curious about these markers when I was trying to figure out what they were. The following seeds allow you to experience the natural surroundings of Japan. I get a different translation every time I do this. It did mention something about the seasons. Now let's just take a peek at some of these, shall we? A young bird trying to announce the arrival of spring with its newly learned song. A clear blue sky without a single cloud. In the autumn leaves spread across the mountains, weaving a carpet of color. A pine tree that bears the weight of snow and thinks of spring. So I think it would be really cute to have some art pieces inspired by some of these. But first, you know we have to swatch these. I love a good swatch. So on the back of the package, the colors are organized in categories of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So I'm going to swatch them in the categories. Immediately, the spring colors are amazing, and I can't wait to work with that palette. Summer is interesting. We have some very earthy colors and some very bright colors, so that'll be interesting to work with. Okay, I'm back in it. Fall is looking both earthy and a little bit colorful. I like it. Okay, I was really surprised by that bright red, but I really see winter in this. I do want to do a quick test to see how they layer, if they layer. So let's just see if we put another. For our additional tests, I like to stick to basic primary colors just to do some transparency tests, layering tests. I know they're water-based, which is why I'm testing them, but you don't even see the stroke. But I'm excited to play around with them as far as illustration goes, so let's get into it. Starting with spring made me realize going into these videos, I wanted to create some art that was Christmas themed because Christmas is around the corner. Christmas is sort of a winter thing, so I had to think about something else to draw. And when I don't know what to draw, I kind of default to cats. So with no real criteria in mind other than drawing cats that were themed to each season, I just jumped right into it. Let's draw a hairless cat with its tail turning into a plant because spring means plants. So far it's a super simple design, but I was excited to start on it just looks like a soggy radish that got plucked out of the ground with like weird loose chicken skin. So because these markers are water-based, I feel like they're just a little bit more finicky than I would like. They don't layer well because they reactivate. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're completely dry and they start bleeding. So because I knew I wasn't going to get that very clean, crisp, bold style I usually like to work with, I thought I would just really embrace the waterness of this marker. So I started off by putting some pink in the main areas of our cat where I wanted the pink to be a little bit darker, and I just added water to create a soft pink. Used the darker purpley color to create shadows. Added more green to the tail of the cat, and I really liked where this guy was going, and I was super excited for the line work. I love how super small and nice and neat the line work pen part is. I used the darker green marker to outline the plant part and the blue for the cat, blended them together, and I think this little guy looks so cute. Sure, the design is simple. It's a cat with a plant for a tail, but I was really starting to get a feel for the art supplies, how I wanted to work with it. I just love the earthy colors of the actual character outlined in a vivid blue. It just looks really neat. I like this little guy. Next up, we have summer, and I just want to brace you guys for disaster. And the great thing about recording the process of making this art is that you get to see every step of the way where this just kept going downhill. Okay, so I started off with what I thought was a pretty cute, decent sketch of a cat. It being summer, I wasn't really inspired by the color palette, to be completely honest. So I just kind of drew a cat that was lazily laying in a hot summer day, just melting there. But when it came to coloring, I'll be honest, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do when I jumped in, and I just kind of jumped in and started doing something. I think at first I was thinking about doing large spots on the cat, sort of like a calico cat. But I think things really took a turn for the worse when I added that dark green on the cat's face. I think I was sort of panicking that I didn't have a way to use that color. So I thought, oh, maybe the cat just feels sick from the hot summer sun. So I'll put some green on its face. That looked awful. So I started to think about ways to really make a colorful interpretation of this cat sitting in the warm sun. So I tried to color the cat in a way where it was blue underneath where it was cooler and red where you could imagine the sun beating down on the cat. I also really wanted to keep embracing the texture of this art supply that I liked, so the line work. I just started to make a bunch of hair textures thinking I could play around with texture, and although I don't love it. It was kind of cool at first, but then I think I sort of lost the plot. The shading kind of got away from me. So anyway, summer to me is a black cat with some color and some flies. This one, okay, I'll be completely honest. There was a moment when I thought to myself, I am absolutely going to redraw a different cat because this is horrible. I cannot include this in the video. However, I kind of like including my absolute worst drawings. I don't want to be that social media person that only posts the best of my best. I want you guys to know that it's normal to make bad art. Anyway, here's this guy. Okay, autumn, no pressure. It's only the best season, so I cannot mess up this cat. And I actually have some spoilers, good news. I love this cat. When I think about autumn, obviously I think about getting all cozy, bundled up, wrapped up in a scarf, maybe a comfy blanket. Layers are starting to form, as clothes do this time of year. What am I talking about? Anyway, when I saw this palette, I saw the orange. Obviously, we're drawing an orange cat. There's a cat that lives in my neighborhood. He's orange. He has long, poofy fur. Perfect to keep you warm in the cooling season of autumn. Let's throw that kitty a fashionable scarf. He's looking cozy. The red will be perfect for shading our cat and also adding line work. And I'm going to use those blues to create a really fun textured scarf. That's right, I'm trying the textures again. I will not give up on textures. Using a marker in this way, adding water and making lots of gradients is definitely not the way I am used to working with my illustration style. But I have been having fun messing around with these markers. I like getting that contrast of a smooth gradient with the scratchy of that super fine pen. It's been a fun combination. And let's talk about the texture on that scarf. It is amazing. Just a bunch of cross hatching. I started off with the teal color as the base for our scarf, and from there I added the darker blue as shading, and sometimes I just added little scritches here and there to create textures and just more visual interest in the scarf. And it is not only one of the best color combination complementary situations in this entire set, but it's also just such a good difference in textures. We have this super textured linen-y looking scarf. I can't stop talking about this scarf. And our super bright, almost looks like it's on fire kitty cat. It's like a pile of leaves wrapped up in a scarf. This is definitely our most successful seasonal kitty. Let's see what we can do with winter. Moving on to our winter kitty, I was suddenly reminded of the fact that I was actually going to base some of these illustrations on the little poem description things of the colors in the back of the package, and I totally forgot. But that's okay, we move on to our winter kitty. So looking at the colors, all I could think about was the light blue was maybe either a sky or maybe the shading of snow. The darker blues and purples could definitely be used with that to line or shade. And the greens and the reds were perfect for some winter plants of some sort of evergreen with red berries because duh. So I drew this kitty that is maybe snowy white. He's very blue. Honestly, he kind of just looks like the Abominable Snowman with some weird winter grass tail, but honestly, I really like the look of this kitty. It is very wintry. Again, I got a little lost in the shading of the cat's tail, but my favorite part of this cat is actually the light texturing I did. With our other kitties, I seem to have focused on a lot of line work to really focus on the texture, but I kind of felt like with fewer lines, I actually achieved a very wiry, thick furred look. For example, our failed summer cat where I used a lot of texture to create that black fur, and you can really tell the cat has a furry, fuzzy texture. That cat also has a bunch of line work. This cat, our icy kitty, only has a few lines, and I feel like you can really capture that thick fur feel from it. I mean, it's not like I just discovered how to do different textures, but it is just something that I very much enjoyed in this cat illustration. It seems like the theme of this video was me messing around basically with a very small pen texture, and you got to come along the journey, woohoo! Anyway, there's our winter kitty, and that's it for this video. A huge thank you to the patrons for their monthly support. You guys are the best. If you want early access to these videos, secret sketches, live streams, and more, check out the Patreon linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.